Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the TechGuy Podcast, episode number 24, and we are recording this on Thursday, 5th of June 2025. I know this episode was supposed to come on, like I did call on the last episode where I told you guys that this was supposed to be on the 2 day, like on the Sunday. This was supposed to be on the Sunday, and week we are going to talk about AI and other stuff, but I did not, and the reason is simple. It's just the next week is going to be WWDC, and I didn't wanted to pack my this week schedule. So I did work. I did. I did try to make it this episode. Like this episode notes have been completed for like 2 days ago only, two couple of days ago only, like last Saturday only. But I did not make it. Couple of reasons, but yeah, so yeah, like that episode is going to be like I'm recording is this like earlier 1 day ago only. Like I decided this on Monday only. I'm not going to force myself to publish couple of new two episodes once a week because that was going to be too much. So I was like, let it be what it is and like try to be much more reasonable with us, like how I can produce stuff. So this week we are going to talk about a lot of stuff, and the next week is important because next week is Apple WWC. There are a lot of rumors. I wanted to talk, but like I wanted to talk about WWDC rumors, like my predictions. Uh, there are not kind of one predictions this year for me, so I was like, like let's just skip that this year because I'm also working on my major main channel videos and how I can produce those videos too. So that is there too, and then this podcast. So let's just get started with this episode. So in this episode, we are gonna talk about couple of major things. One is in the AI, what is happening with the AI world. That is mostly OpenAI major news that came last week with OpenAI merging with IO. So IO, which is the company of Jony Ive, sorry. So if you don't know Jony Ive, it is going to be interesting to talk about, and a lot of good things there too. But OpenAI is working a device, a product, a hardware, not a software. Like it's a product device working with Johnny's company, a name IO. We are gonna talk in depth about it. Then we have a couple of AI updates, which is again good, and news certain updates regarding certain like other AI apps, other companies too. And then we are gonna talk about the internet, the what is going to happen with the internet. So basically, we are going to talk about the future of web, what is going to happen with the future of web. Uh, we touched it a little bit in the last episode of Google I/O, where we talk a little bit about what is going to be the future of a web in terms of search, in terms of like how it is. But certain things happen, like the Arc company is now moving on from their Arc, the browser, to Arc, not Arc, like the Dia, their new AI model. So there was an interview taken by the Waveform podcast, and also the Arc CEO Josh Miller also wrote a Substack, which was again I will say a good transparency again with their members. So if I will tell you, like when it comes to Arc, I am one of the most earliest users, so I was just interested where they are headed, and he talked openly, I will say, what they felt behind with and what they think the future of web is going to be, the browsing, because they are itself a browsing company. So that is going to be a good topic. Then we are going to talk about the Apple's dilemma in the manufacturing in the US, and due to Trump's again random tweet on his social media platform, the social truth social, I think its name. So we are gonna talk about that too. But and also again, you might have seen this a look is going to be like, it is going to be looking, it is, this episode is looking something different, is because there is no light right now, and I wanted to record this episode right now only. If I don't, it is going to be difficult for me to maintain again the schedule for tomorrow to upload this episode and again to work on other stuff. But I will tell you one thing, uh, if this episode gets changed in between, and like that is just like the episodes, if you are watching it in video, it will, you will definitely feel it, or I will definitely update you, because I don't think I have too much kind of battery on my laptop to record this hour long podcast, minimum hour long. But yeah, so let's just get started with the updates and some news. I think we will start with the OpenAI. So OpenAI is merging with company named IO. It is a company has been there by Jony Ive. Jony Ive, if you don't know, is the guy who worked on Apple. He's kind of a major partner, like major person in the production, and in terms of design, he is a major person in when it comes to designing the couple of products, that is definitely iPhone, iMac, iPod, even iPad, even the iOS, still to the latest. Like he was working with the Apple with it till to 2014, I think. And after 2014, he left. He started a company called a Love Form company name. The company of that name was Love Form, which is again a designer company. His profession is a company, he works, that company works with Airbnb, Ferrari, Montclair, like couple, one of the most biggest brands. And Apple used to work with that again with that company till 2022. And he is one of those persons who has been working with Apple for 2 decades mostly. He's the guy who is from 1990s. He's working with the Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs put him in the head of, like, kind of a chief designer, you know. But just to give the idea how big of this kind of a partnership is just looking at his track record, what he has done with the Apple and the products, and that products has evolutionized in a some way or another to the industry. So it is kind of a big deal if you know the past of Jony Ive, or if you are one of the person who knows the journey of Apple, who know, like, people who are been in this tech industry for decade long, at least a decade long, knows him really good. And if you see that, again, like I said, track record, you know how much of a big deal it is for OpenAI partnering with IO and getting Jony Ive on the team. So why they are partnering is basically to make a product. So OpenAI is working on a product. So, and it is not kind of a new model, new software, new agent. Like they are doing that those kind of things on weekly basis, monthly basis. They are uploading and giving new updates, which is great. They are working on a physical product, a wearable. We don't know what it is right now. We know that the product is ready, at least the prototype is ready. And Sam Altman, in the video they published, talked about he is working on that product. And like the product is finished, and prototype is finished, and he's using that product. And hopefully they can announce this product next year. 2026 is their timeline. And yeah, so this was the most we could get from them. So basically, OpenAI is merging with IO, which is again kind of an 6.5 billion dollar valuation they have gotten from OpenAI. So basically, IO has been merged. Like, they have just basically bought IO. So Jony Ive will be working with Sam Altman, like with OpenAI, to making that AI device. Like, so that is going to be major, definitely going to be a major thing when it comes to the next year product lineup. Why I am saying is the only thing is because not just because Jony Ive is involved. I don't even know. Like, see, again, I've just researched that guy and like just seeing his that guy's Wikipedia and whatever he has worked on past couple of years, like decades, is just interesting to think like what he can do with the technology. You know, he will do insane work. I think I get it, but the track record for AI product has not been good. Like I know AI is just a start and everyone is just experimenting stuff, but last year we saw two products, right? That is one is human AI pin and another one is Rabbit R1, which got insane coverage and they got a lot of eyeballs and a lot of hype we got during that period like this period like this year period last year that time a lot of hype was going on and a lot of people bought those products, but ultimately both products have failed, not just in terms of okay we can work on the next gen of that product, but so much miserable that the company has now been sold to HP. Yeah, the human AI pin has been like sold to HP and like it's just insane to me how you know this AI like there are going to be so much startup when it comes to AI and its products that again and they are going on, which we thought that last year when those product two failed, no other company would be coming at least for a new company when it comes to investing in AI unless and until you have people like Jony Ive and working with OpenAI. So they have kind of a big shot and OpenAI again it's like they don't have kind of a problem of technology. Like the problem with the AI right now, like people say, is like all companies are trying to find out the use case of it and how you can implement it in. So it is going to be really insane how like I am actually hyped about that product, but the problem with the hyping up with the product is again the disappointment that I have gotten last year. When I saw that those two product, when they launched, uh, I was thinking a near future where they are going to be the mobile phone killer, like the smartphone killers, because we don't want screens slab on our hands. Definitely, people want something different every year, every time, and if it's something that is so good that people can shift and be useful, it can be like we are in a technological world where the problem is not the shifting from one part I will say to another. The problem is if you make a good product people will shift and people will use your product. That is the thing. But both product like human AI pin fundamentally the product was actually good. Like if you theoretically that product is good and should be good even too, but even when it comes to execution that those kind of product and long term I didn't saw like when the company just got sold, my conclusion came is that they didn't have the future plan for the event, like that 5 year plan, 3 year plan. When the product have like okay, this is the minimum things we are gonna give with this gen, and in the next gen we are gonna give this couple of updates, this couple of features with the new product, because that is what majority of the product company does, because product designing and shipping it and making is kind of hard thing, and that's why even it took Apple, even Google so many years, and especially to make a perfect, not a perfect, like even a good smartphone where it does what it says, you know. And even still to this day Apple has not been like just like giving you those features whatever you want at a one. Like every year we see so many years Apple has been pushing so many small updates every year, but perfectly, you know. Same with the Android, like we know like couple from 5 years from now this feature will be there, good voice assistant, command voice assistants, like what Samsung we saw with the Samsung this year will be there in 1 or 2 years perfectly within every fucking smartphone. But the problem is going to be is what we can say is over promising something that definitely is not going to come in this product. That is what happened with the Rabbit R1 and also human AI. So talking about OpenAI and Jony Ive, I will definitely say the experience will definitely be handy here, where Jony Ive has worked with so many companies now. Like he had his own firm, that is Love Firm, which is again there, but like just seeing those companies like Airbnb, Ferrari, and Montclair, it's just insane to me. It's like you cannot be that excited. It's like it's so insane to me to think that you know what is that product is going to be. It's like Johnny Ive also said that we are not trying to make an Apple killer. We are not trying to replace anything. We are trying to create a new product category. It definitely can. Like, definitely no product like with their first launch is going to replace any kind of technology right now. Like we said, like it will take a cultural, also a lot of generations, like technological changes up into next 5 to 6 years. It is that kind of game you have to play with it. So yeah. Mm, I think yeah, uh, that's it for right now for the updates of the OpenAI and IO. I'm just excited for the device, no doubt, but I'm thinking what category they are going to in. Like Meta is working on wearables, that is their glasses, and MetaQuest is their big bet that everyone is going to move towards VR experiences, XR experiences with their glasses, with the Meta glasses, and what we saw a couple of months ago in Meta event last year with the XR glasses with so many packed kind of an hardware in the same spectacles, which is insane to think. So I think completely agree that it is a long-term project that everyone is working on, and only right now for big companies right now have a chance, because it's a long-term investment that companies like it's a long-term investment and trust needs to be done when it comes to making this kind of projects. So we have Snapchat who is working on their classes, Meta is working on their classes, Apple is their rumor also working on their glasses, but not till 2027 we might see any kind of prototype too. But they have entered the race of AI, like not AI, but their new gen product like is Vision, which is definitely they might be working on behind with the Vision Pro, with lighter, with smaller version of Vision Pro, definitely. But then Google just announced, we talked about in the last episode with their XR1. That is also, so there are a lot of categories there are variable categories. There are also people who are working with the voice command, like just only by the voice command. Like I saw a company called Friend, I think, couple of months ago in January this year only, where a company where you have to just it was kind of like a mic you have to attach uh, near your cloth here, I think, and near your chest area, and you have to speak through it like, hey friend, and ask something and it will do the work for you. So it is kind of people like there are couple of things, couple of products that definitely are there. That is, one is wearable, that is glasses, then there is uh, vision quest, but and then there is also voice assistant product, and then there is definitely a product category called like in hand but not a smartphone, which is can be a good, like there can be a lot of things there. what I'm excited, like what I would imagine they would make a product is definitely what nothing made, nothing CMF. What they tried to do with CMF phone, like already what they had the technology, but bring it at affordable area. Like they can do that too. OpenAI it's like making, like they would, I think that product, whatever they are making, would definitely had key, you know, definitely have a screen, and they like it can be kind of an handy device, kind of a phone, but packed with the, you know, OpenAI software. Like there can be a lot, like it's just speculations until and unless we will hear something leaks or something regarding something leak in next couple of months, which is next year, which is not a long time to wait to again. So yeah, that is it for OpenAI. Next, I think we are back. This is the next day. The actually, like I said in the last, like I said previously, like that episode when I was recording yesterday, like this episode only, there was the light was not there and the laptop charging was gone, so I didn't record. So we are going to record this on now. We are recording this on next day, Friday. So this episode could be now delay quite a bit, mostly Saturday only. So yeah, so we talked about, I think, OpenAI and IO are merging together, and how Jony Ive and the OpenAI is making a product together. We will see that in the next year. Next, we have a couple of updates regarding AI. So, updates regarding OpenAI and some basic AI updates. That is, OpenAI has launched Codex. They called it cloud-based software engineering agent, which is powered by O3 to optimize for only in software engineering. Basically, Codex is kind of, and you will say it is integrated. It is your AI IDE. If you don't know IDE is a platform where you write yourself your code, and so Codex will be helpful for you to write whatever the task you have, at least run at simultaneously multiple tasks. And yeah, so not much to talk there, because again I am not an like I do not code right now or not working any kind of project, but we are working future in next 1 or 2 months. We will be releasing a lot of, not just a lot of web, but the thing is when this AI, the first thing that these AI agents are going to be mostly integrated in the software engineering, and for tools for software engineering, that is for developers in animation, gaming, making apps, web apps. So mostly it is going to be there. The tools are mostly powerful enough to integrate there first. So we are going to test it there. Especially I am making multiple projects working on that, but I think we can talk much more deeper when it comes to when mostly I get into it, and then we can compare how it is easy or different with AI and without AI from any other developer who is there for decades. So yeah, that is Codex. If you are a developer or software engineer, do check it out and let me know. Then OpenAI Operator Agent has been updated with the latest reasoning model. Operator is again an AI agent by OpenAI, launched a couple of months ago. We talked about that, and now you can also, the third one is, now you can also download PDF of yourself of deep research. So whenever you do deep research in OpenAI, now you can also get a PDF of that directly downloaded. Um, let's talk about some couple of small AI updates. So Claude 4 and Sonnet 4 has launched by Anthropic last week. So if you are using Claudia 4 3.5, I'm hearing a lot of good thoughts in terms of from developers, software engineering, uh, like online that Claude 4 is actually good. Then OpenAI launched ChatGPT 4.1 and launches the Evaluation Hub. So Evaluation Hub is basically their uh, trying to be much more transparent regarding the process of what how they review their model. So Evaluation Hub is kind of, and you will see their multiple processes and you can go check out what those are for that model. They already had a model spec for everyone, but I think this is much more kind of a transparent and mostly easy to do, rather than checking model spec that for, like, it is just integrated everything into one, so it is much easier. Because what happened with the 4.0 model when they launched it, I think, yeah, it did have a lot of problems, so rolled it back. So now that launched Evaluation Hub. So yeah, Perplexity. Next one is the Perplexity is getting PayPal and Venmo coming to app, and you can do payment one tap system from the Perplexity app, which is again what we talked about in the last IO episode. That is also Google is trying to do with their Google Pay, with one tap payment from within the browser, whatever you are browsing, and that AI agent, basically how AI agent finds the product for you, and you just the one tap buy it, and AI agent automatically fills your all details and you just have to pay. That is same is now available. That is, so I think Perplexity is trying to do, and it will be available soon. We will check that. Then there is new update in Google Gemini in Canvas. You can now create interactive content. So basically creating interactive quiz kind of a thing you can do in terms of Canvas, whenever, like, if you have discussed something with the Canvas and Canvas is there, and you can just go there and uh, switch to interactive content. It will make quiz for you depending whatever conversation you had. So this kind of an the thing you can do, which is again really good to have to learn something for teachers, educators. I believe that. I just think that these updates, this whole Gemini updates are going to be one place at, I think, definitely at separate, like, I think whatever this Canvas updates they are giving, I think we will get a separate app, just like what I think we have at Notebook LM, or this all Canvas updates, like I talk about content, creating new interactive content. I think Notebook LM will have the same. So I think what will Google will try to do is Gemini is where they will experiment stuff, and Notebook LM where you have a powerful tool for educators, students, people who want to do have much more kind of an interactive work. They will uploaded that whole features to Notebook LM. I believe that, because I don't think Notebook LM will be shutting, like, will be having those only specific features that it has now. So yeah, it can I think this Gemini is just becoming a testing ground for them for now. So yeah, these were some couple of updates in AI and with OpenAI. We will take a break here and we will talk after a break about the future of browsing on web and how it will look, and Apple and Trump situation, which is again not so good looking for Apple. And yeah, we will have a thorough discussion in it. So yeah, we will be right back after a break. Welcome back, and let's talk about the future of web topic first, and then we will talk about the Apple and Trump situation. So this topic of future of web, I think we started in the last episode only, where Google, in the Google I/O, they talked about AI mode getting integrated about in uh, basically into the search of Google, and yeah, and we were saying, like, if AI mode is integrating in search, the questions raised were, are website worthless, or is the tab system we browse on our PCs or even our phone mobile browsers is just meaningless, and the web is going to look, at least the browsing is going to look different totally. And the question is yes. And we we touch a little bit about how the browsing is going to just definitely change fundamentally from basics. And what I got from those is that Google, like I talked about, is playing a safe bet here and trying to be much more uh, a person who is in just the middle and people figure it out, just like what it happened with AI overviews. Like at the start, people didn't actually love it, and also it had a lot of mistakes, and also they didn't like the major question with AI overviews was how is the ad revenue gonna work on the web? You know, if you know the basics of the web is like the web runs majorly on ad revenue. So whatever you search, Google provides you, and whenever you go into that web, that is that website, you see multiple couple of ads depending upon that host of that web page, whatever he has included. So it is kind of an and so this that is how they make money by getting views on their web pages. That's the basic model. But when this AI overviews came and now AI mode is getting integrated in Google search, it is just became kind of an, you know like if you are just people are just if people were just going to get answers that is getting extracted from web browser, like web pages, and people are just going to get answers, and then people are not going to go into the go to the specific website for their answers, then there will be no ad revenue because people will not advertise on the web pages. And so the business is down for those people who write on web pages, and ultimately where is the information is going to come then? How is AI going to get that information towards you if there is no information, like their internet theory people talk about? So that's the whole thing about, or the major problem with the Google AI overviews had last year. People had it and we talked about it, and also this year with AI mode. And definitely there are not publishers who actually are not happy with it because it's definitely causing harm to their business. But the major thing happened, and the conversation I wanted to have is because also like we would have this conversation a couple of episodes later, but I think one thing also happened is Arc browser. So if you don't know, the Arc browser is a browser by the browsing company, the company's name. So it is Arc browser is, you can see, kind of an, if you are a user of Arc browser, you know that how kind of a different kind of a browser it is. If you are not, don't bother, it's just they are not working on it. Like they have moved from their Arc browser, which was going to the future of web, future of which like they seem to have working on really really hard, which doing something different on web, especially in terms of browsing, because no other browsing companies were doing that at that time, like the year or two before, like when they started. um, so they stopped working on the Arc browser, which they heavily focused for last 2 years, and they have now shifted towards the AI browser called Dia, DIA, Dia. So it's kind of a sign, you can definitely say, where the company I have been following for past 2 years in terms of browsing, something doing different, just moving on from their one of the most, like I will say, star product they have made. People, there is a reason why there are so dedicated members for using Arc, and now they are just suddenly stopped working on it and they have shifted towards DM. So according to the Josh Miller, who also wrote the Substack a couple of days ago, like last week only, about how and what and why they shifted towards Dia, and how it's not a sudden decision and also kind of an ongoing progress, but it's just hard decision to make for them because of overall kind of an admit admitting that the future of web is not just tabs and it is going to look totally different, and it is. So yeah, with how Google is shifting, how people are just shifting from basic browsing towards using AI like ChatGPT on day-to-day daily basis on their phones. Perplexity is another app, and also AI is getting integrated into lots of uh, social media too. Like it is getting integrated. It has already getting Meta has integrated their AI, Meta AI, in WhatsApp, Facebook, uh, I think also Instagram too, and Twitter has their own cause that is search, like basically Gork built in inside the app. And now Google search is also having basically kind of an AI mode, you can say. Like they launched last week in their Google I/O, and now it is, see, it looks, definitely looks like kind of an, uh, a shift towards not going towards traditional browsing. And it is fair. Like traditional browsing was ultimately not just difficult for an average person to think, to type certain words. Like we are trained towards doing Google search towards specific wording, like we call SEO search. So now it is becoming more kind of a contextual, personal, and also more speech, I will say, more kind of an personal in terms of whatever you ask it in terms of your speech, or just longer questions. What does that mean is like you now don't need to specifically search in a certain way, like SEO search we call, like type those specific search, or that specific word in front of your question, that you can get that answer directly. Like Reddit, like you can, like whenever we search something and just type in front of Reddit, you just get whole Reddit pages. So it is kind of a shifting from there to just getting answers directly, and that's what actually people wanted for like lot of years. Like for the past couple of years, people have wanted it, just direct answers. So that's the future of, definitely is going to be. So if that is the future of, of where uh, the web is going to be, then how is the monetization is going to work there? That was the biggest question that are people having for past 2 years. Like even when ChatGPT first launched, if ChatGPT is scraping whole internet just to give you your answers, then how those pages on the internet, like the New York Times, have sued OpenAI years, like couple of years ago, like scraping their data and giving us the answers, like without even permission. Just like that is how they do it and still do it. You might, like, they are still not that much kind of a transparent company too. So how the internet is going to run with this whole AI searches are going to be there, if it is the future of the internet or the web. So that is what I think. Also in the Josh Miller Substack, he talked about is like fundamentally people are or the it is shifting, and they saw the retention, that is search, is definitely going down. And we also talked about how search generally is going down due to AI is already there. You don't need to go always to Google search to search the things you want to see. And so it is. So if it is changing, the bigger question now here is for people is how the internet, how your monetization is going to work here. That's the biggest question. That's the main crux of it, because how the businesses are going to work. The Verge had a interview with Sundar Pichai, I think last week. I will link down that interview. It is a great interview done by Nila Patel. The Decoder episode, it is available on YouTube. So he asked about how the how it is going to work actually ultimately, you know. And Sundar actually definitely dodged it. He didn't answer it. They don't have stats. Even he always, like for past 6 months from quarter 3, I think, of 2024, when they released their quarter 3 earnings, and he talked a little bit in that his blog, where he talked about Google AI overviews is working, but there were no stats there in terms of when it comes to blog, when it comes to that blog post. And then he again talked about AI overview, like it will generate more people to go, like it will just generate more views on those websites. And I'm like, how, how it is going to happen? Like they don't have some kind of stats to show us. Like he says, we know the stats, we are seeing the stats, but they don't have a stats to show us to at least the public, like, hey, like this AI mode that over AI overviews is ultimately is going to boost the businesses, the websites, and ad revenue is going to be there. But we are not saying it. you know People are shifting towards, multiple stuff, multiple AI chats, and also shifting, and also, using AI overviews kind of an, like, doesn't make sense what he's saying. And they talked about couple of things, definitely. you know um, when in the decoded episode where they talk about, where how AI agents is going to be browsing for you. So if Neelai Patel asks, if, like, if say if AI agent is going to browse on the internet for you, then are those websites, like, websites like Amazon, websites like, Walmart, how they're, like, are they even going to allow these AI agents going to come on to their websites and search for you and extract the data and give it towards the people? Because if you are not landing onto your page, how they are going to earn their money, how they are going to like earn, like it's kind of an, ultimate ultimately it's just doesn't make sense. Again, we are just circling towards that one point, how the monetization is going to work. A couple of interesting things they came up with was, like, how if AI agents are going to be the one who is going to be searching on the internet for you, for majority of the people, then they might have a subscription for those AI agent. Like the AI agents, like, has to pay the price to go towards that specific website, to pay the price to that website to come into their website and get the answer whatever they want. This was couple of answers, like if people will pay for the subscriptions for, like, kind of an stuff like AI more, stuff like, y- hardcore stuff like plan a vacation for me, you know uh, doing multiple tasks at one, filtering out things. If you are doing those kind of searches in AI more, or even ultimately on web, where Google is helping you, that Google's AI agent is helping you, then they will people will pay a subscription to Google, and Google will pay those websites where AI agent is going to search on those websites. It's kind of a, now middleman is going to be the AI agents. So people have to pay for that AI agent. So companies, the websites, the web pages are going to get paid the number of times AI agents comes to their page. So that is how they get paid, and that is how they monetize their stuff. And people, and the Google is going to get paid by the subscription by us. If that is, like, kind of an another stuff they talk about in that decoder episode. But ultimately, when they talked about it, it's like seems like so vague. It's kind of an just a big shot in this, like, whole, like they are taking their big shots again. uh Everything is going to be work around this, and I really liked about in the verse, cause when they talk about is like, we don't want this to be AI or the web to be now the newer web that people are talking about, to be controlled by a couple of search engines, couple of AIs like OpenAI or Google. Because when the web started, it was controlled by a couple of four peoples, and now that is why, because they are so much kind of a giant company like Google, you can say that. So with this AI, we mostly want kind of an democratization of search. When ChatGPT happened, a lot of people has come, people have started using it from the first get go, and now it is now people like Google. knows the threat of what ChatGPT, Gork, specifically I will say mention here, and even Meta, because they already have so much large number of user base, kind of, and like GOG doesn't need kind of an large number of user base to get used on daily basis. Like if you are on Twitter nowadays, like past couple of months, you know that how insanely on day-to-day basis people use call. They just ask directly what that tweet is about, what is the context behind that tweet, and Gork just completely has the access of Twitter because it is obviously owned by both Elon Musk, the platform Twitter, and the XAI, that is Gork. So I don't have to go to search every time on Google to let get me the context of what is happening with that specific tweet. That is, it's just changing the shift of the direction towards not going towards Google for every other time we need it. Where OpenAI is with their ChatGPT search. Now also ChatGPT can search for you for yourself on this web and gives you answer from the web. So there it is. The ChatGPT also has the web access towards it. Meta AI, like they have the, like probably Meta AI, like Meta has one of the most biggest audience, that is just their social media, Instagram, that is more than billion, Facebook, WhatsApp. So if people get used to using Meta AI on this social media platform, there are people are not going to go every time Google search if this regarding some kind of post, regarding some kind of news. So you see that the search where we go used to go every time, that is just Google it, is not going to be there in next couple of years. So in next year, 10 years, like there the term just Google it might not be just exist, just because people are going to be more aware of like what kind of technology they have in hand, like Meta as AI chatbot in social media in built, like from in Instagram, in Facebook, in WhatsApp, in Twitter, which is Cork. So people are not, so like every website will definitely try to make it easier for people to stay on the phone, like stay on their website. The problem what it will be happening now is in this whole chaos, you know, the the problem again people are talking about is when the search is going to be low and the search is going to be disintegrate, like if lots of people use different search ways, like searching ways, and if let's say like now there is no just one Google, one like Google, like there is no just one Google to go for your everything answer now, like it is just disintegrated, with every other platform having their own search, especially AI search we talked about. Now if people are getting used to it, what is going to be the monetization, and also the extent towards is what you can get on this, you know so when people talk about this AI search, how it is valuable, how it is changing the game of browsing. Like browsers are definitely not, like how Josh Miller talked in the Waveform podcast, that the it is going to be difficult to even say that how the browsing is going to look like. He talked about it, that tabs are not the future. Like fundamentally it is definitely changing. People will not know how what tabs are in future. People will be not asking SEO type answers. People will be asking much more longer, like Google has said, in their IO, like that kind of thing. So there might be a future where you know it seems like much more kind of an so much complex topic that not everyone knows what is going to happen there. Like you know even what is the like if you are using these AI models, for search for complex tasks, are we going to pay for it? Like how Josh Miller talk about, there is going to be a free version of AI mode, like AI search, and there is going to be paid version where you are going to pay them so they can use. Like the monetization structure is totally changing. The web is totally changing how people are going to look into the web. Like there are, like if you search something now, you have multiple websites there. That is not going to happen on the day-to-day basis, I am kind of an, here researchers. I do mostly research on these topics, on the getting this what is happening in the tech. So I don't trust like what is that just chat GPT or any kind of AI search is giving me. I have to go to on Google and search on multiple websites what is happening, what they have actually written, rather than rephrasing the same stuff and giving me something different. Like that is the whole another topic about hallucination. But again, like I talk about, like the big question about the browsing is definitely changing. What we have concrete right now and right everybody knows is that definitely fundamentally the browsing um the browsing his like the way we browse is definitely going to change, and also the way the internet is going to be around at web AI, like the new web, that is I don't know what it is just AI and AI agents, is how that is going to affect the web pages, and how it doesn't go towards dead internet theory. Is just people don't know that, people are just betting towards getting kind of a solution on the way to go, but ultimately it is going to be much more a rough path, I think, in next a year only. Like we are getting there sooner as we thought. And yeah, people are like, it's not that people are not talking about how uh, that like we know definitely that New York Times is not going anywhere. We know that definitely Bloomberg, they this like we know that these websites are nowhere near going to be like kind of an extinct if AI searches. The problem is not that, you know, like they have kind of a different problem with open. That's why like it is kind of an the problem with the this model what they are trying to make is what's the monetization for the websites, let's say like bookings.com or make my trip, where you go on booking some kind of flights, like when this Google or even OpenAI talked about how you can book yourself a bike, or like sorry, a plane ticket, or like tickets for your ride or hotel booking. How how those websites are going to get monetized if those websites runs on advertisements. So this kind of an like balance we need to have in this what is going to have, and also kind of an really not kind of an, I will say again, lastly rephrasing everything what we have talked about is we don't want everything to be side on what Google is going ultimately, because they ultimately don't have a solution there. But we are also seeing a side where like there are two sides, that is one is where couple of one or two companies will have control over the web with their API, with their agents, like OpenAI having their agents and that they're making. On the other hand, we see the browsing company making dia multiple browsing AI browsers will be there, multiple agents will be made by like Claude AI, Sonnet will be making their own AI agents. So we will have kind of a democratization into the web or into the search, rather than having a centralized what Google we had with the Google search up until now. So we want mostly, I personally want mostly the second option mostly, rather than going towards completely what Google is trying to do, rather than having multiple AI browsers and have kind of an solution towards like what we talked about is a balance between what AI overviews, AI mode is going to be give, and ultimately what we have to go, at least for now, because unless we figure out what is going to be the monetization there, that is how I feel like the balance between AI overviews, AI mode, and shifting towards going towards that website for now, because we will definitely need a monetization factor. Like we talk about how AI agents like Google will be paying those websites to let their AI agents to come and search and scrape their website to give the information to the user ultimately. So that is the monetization also another factor, but we never know where the direction we are going. So there can be multiple solution for now, but this is the landscape of what web browsing is right now. It is changing the way the time like web like it is changing for like in monthly basis. Like 6 months ago it was totally different, now it is totally different. I'm looking forward to what it is going to be, you know. For me at least, I don't think AI browsing is going to be definitely different for me, because browsing for me is kind of, and mostly right now when I go, is the same as what is before. That is, I use tabs. There are 4 or 5 tabs in front of me, uh, and I have to go to every website, because it's not just about I don't trust AI. It's just about having that confidence that whatever I have written here is like at least I trust. You know, I don't want to trust fully on any kind of things. Awareness is always important, and I get why Google always talk about how people are searching more longer questions, because I also do that. Like I do mostly brainstorming, like we always talk about brainstorming ideas, lots of stuff there too. So it is a fine line between how we are going to shift from, it's a fine line between how we are going to shift from this to either, like it can go one of two ways. So let's see how it goes. We'll mostly talk again much rather in future, where we have multiple features, where we have multiple updates regarding how it is going to be. So yeah, that is for me right now the future of browsing, that the topic I want to talk about. Let's talk about the Apple situation, which they are in again a tricky situation, which they did not, I think, expected from it, but we expected from Trump, obviously. So what happened is 2 weeks ago, Trump's tweeted on the show Truth Social, that is his all again own social media platform, I think, where he tweeted and said is that he, if Apple does not bring manufacturing of the iPhones in the US, that is, if they do not do manufacturing in US and do something besides from China, that is India or other Southeast Asian countries, they still have to face 25% tariff on each unit. Or I don't know, like what is the how it is going to be each unit or like other stuff. But so the tariff situation, where it is again like we talked a couple of episodes ago, again not just a dumb decision we talked about, but the problem that these companies are having right now, especially Apple, is that their major manufacturing is now in China, and Trump has like issued as, I think now it is 125% tariff, uh, which is insane. We don't know how it is going to work. So 125% tariff. So what Apple did, Apple moved lots of millions of units of Apple phones, at least from China to India, and now the mostly the Apple phones are coming from India to US for right now, so they don't get, it's kind of an cost efficient, so they don't get too much kind of an tariff. So the if the product is coming from China, now again whole Trump's campaign promise was with this tariff is that companies will be forced to manufacture in US. And yeah, after manufacturing in US, he thought that is I think like he thought about, or I don't know how dumb he could be in when making these decisions, because if it was even possible for Apple to make affordable iPhones, even now in US, it will took one to like couple of years of not just investment but time to base that infrastructure in US only. Okay, if they could even make it. Okay, the cultural shift towards manufacturing from US to China, the reason it was happen at first, it is definitely cost effective. Before it was cost effective, but what happened towards the years is that China grew their manufacturing hub. They have thousands of companies, like kind of and factories available in China, so they can make the product you want now. So like now, not just Tim Cook have talked about, it's like now a couple of years, like you can find his video about where he talked about it's not, now it's not about the cost effectiveness, but the skills and the manufacturing units, like the factories they have right now in China available, is so insane that US is so behind in terms of manufacturing. So now they are only rely is on China. That is how big kind of a big deal is for manufacturing hub that is available in China that they have produced. Because if you have ever seen kind of an videos in China of China, how big kind of an electronic components are there too. Like there is a whole buildings just for USB type kind of components, circuits. Like there are whole lot of companies that are available, and even factories that if you go to them and tell us like if we want to make this product, they will do it for you because the infrastructure is available for you, and the skills that are required to make those products have been increased over the past period now. So it started as cost effective for a lot of companies that shifted from US to China for those reasons, and now it is mostly about skill, manufacturing, and the speed at the what they do it. Same is, or you can say a smaller version of it is available, and it is growing in India too. Couple of years ago now, 1 or like 2 years ago, Apple started manufacturing their iPhone 13s when they launched their 14 and 15, I think. Now Apple has also assembly available in India too. So we kind of have manufacturing in started in India too. A lot of Chinese companies do assembly in India too now. We have assembly here, so it is kind of an cost effective in when it comes to that. So that is also happening in India. So why US is so behind when it comes to so much manufacturing is because ultimately is because of at start they shifted all those companies because of the cost effectiveness, and I believe that because of that shift and because of US growing as a country and dollar going stronger and stronger, it is hard for them to manufacture those same product in there than the China is, because it's not just established, it's cost effective too. And now to bring that whole production line up to US, even if it is possible, but now the problem is not just about money. Now the problem is to train people for a year, like 1 or 2 year. It's not a skill that will be available for thousands of people for in a factory can be made like in 6 months. It's not that simple. To manufacture those things in US, to first of all build those factories, train people, getting multiple factories or multiple businesses together to assemble those products, because phone has thousands of parts, circuit board, circuits, PCBs, like we talk about motherboards, we can say that too. Then lenses, there are screws, there are so many parts, like the case of the phone, so many parts. that they have to come together and assemble at one place. But to let that part alone available in that same country is insane. To think about the logistics that goes into the making of a one smartphone, especially iPhones. So it is hard for US to even do it in next 5 years right now. So with this tweet, what Trump said is like we want manufacturing in US. Analysts and experts are saying it's like it is best decision for Apple to take is to get 25% tariff on the products they already have rather than coming to US to get the manufacturing in US right now, because getting those whole manufacturing things parts from China to US is not just a long term process, but it's again so much cost taking that even for as big as company as Apple, it is difficult for them to do it. Yeah, it is difficult. So it is kind of an it like a difficult situation that Tim Cook is right now. So he like I thought when Tim Cook like when Apple released I think in the month of February, we know that Apple is investing more than like half a trillion, that is $500 billion. That is Apple is investing in R&D and AI in next couple of years. That is we know that, but it did not talk about how the manufacturing is going to like. If you go to that website like the blog that Apple post, it did not talk about any kind of manufacturing. Is because it's that hard, like even in next decade, like we talk about to bring that. If it started now, Apple started now to bring back the manufacturing from China, it will take decades of work to just bring the same cost effectiveness that what China was doing. And even if they did, what's the point for Apple to do it? They are again the company who wants to make profit. They know how to, you know, they have their own shareholders. It's a public like a company, so it is kind of an tricky. Like the reason I'm telling it is not in a bad situation rather than a tricky situation is because Trump is again a kind of a president where you can see here he can back down or things can get resolved in so many things. Like he will never talk about this tweet or never think about it back again because if he don't care that much, or he will double down and fit again towards this kind of tweets regarding Apple and force them to being manufacturing. The thing that Apple can do here is one of two things. If you remember, we talked in the last couple of episode ago that Amazon is now what Amazon is doing is giving an additional price in the US, basically giving an additional price besides the actual price what it is, and calling it is that additional price is due to tariffs. So people will get to know that why this product is so much getting high price here in US is because they will be seeing the additional whatever the price is there due to tariff. And now when Amazon announced this kind of stuff, and I don't know it is available, like I didn't see any kind of images of having that same price besides actual price that it is due to tariffs. When uh, they announced it, like Trump definitely didn't like it because when they I think the press was going on in the White House, she just talked about like how like unprecedented, like it is kind of an violated like kind of a rule, like she talked about again. I was like, and people know that Trump definitely did not liked it, you know. So companies are getting sick of it, like you know we already know that tariffs are so bad that eventually rather now on the next couple of months, if the tariff situation is not solved, especially for the China, the businesses those are in US are definitely are going to get collapsed. Is because not just they have to pay higher, the consumers needs to get, consumers are then just the will get the, they have to pay the price for it, because small businesses are going to have problems to get ship those products from there, from China. They have to look for other suppliers if it is available or not, a lot of stuff. And it is again going to be much more difficult for the companies that do products, and Amazon is one of them, Apple is one of them, Microsoft is one of them. So sooner or later we will see these collateral damage that is going to definitely happen due to tariff, and it is going to be rough, and recently I think, if you don't know what is happening with the Trump and Elon, like they are fighting over Twitter over now, but also Trump, like even Elon tweeted the effects of the tariff, what Trump tariff, what is happened, it is going to be now happen, because in the later half of the year we will see it, and we know that, like we didn't, like it's not like we didn't know that, like even he also knows that how bad tariff is going to affect the overall businesses, because he is a businessman. I think even though he's the richest man, he looks for his and his companies whatever the profit he needs to make. So ultimately what Apple can do, I don't know, depending, I think there might be multiple kind of an background talk will be happening, and we will may never see this going forward, this kind of a manufacturing talk from the Trump that to bring to the US, at least for now. uh, there is another thing that Apple can do is just to start assembly in US. They might start it assembly for now in the US. That is the another option, that like what they started in India. And then there is another option, I think, that is start investing in US manufacturing, I guess. But again, even if they bring the manufacturing in US, the whole production lineup, that is the products that are going to sell in US, I don't know, even if they bring back production just for the US customers, they will be able to meet those ends. So it is kind of a tricky. It is hard ultimately. So like that's why analysts and like researchers, like people on the internet, like people who knows the logistics and stuff, are saying that taking those 25% tariff is much better than getting those uh, manufacturing in US. It is kind of a long-term game. We again, I have talked about how bringing the manufacturing is not an easy task. It is a long-term game, long-term game for like a decade or 2 decades. In 20 years, US might reach what the potential what other like China has right now. So yeah, like we will see. We will continue to talk this about in our future episode. What Apple will respond towards it, what it's going to happen with the situation of manufacturing. Are they going to do the same retaliation what Amazon did with the as giving the additional price? Because like in India here, the pricing of iPhones is already higher than what it is in US. So it might be reverse now. Like the pricing in US will be much more higher than what is pricing in India right now, because pricing of iPhone, it is much 100 $200 higher here in India, due to it is does not get manufactured in India, and it is uh, so let's see. I think if people see, you never know the power of people and their retaliation. So like you never see if Apple started retaliating towards Trump tariffs, and if they don't like it, and if they and people see the effects of the tariffs, Trump might bring back like remove the tariffs, especially on specific products. You never know that he's that kind of a guy who just wants to be there on that president's seats ultimately. So let's see what happens. For now, yeah. So that's it. Uh, the update regarding tariff situation with Apple and Trump that is happened. Yeah. So Yeah, so next week is going to be insane again because I think on 9th, that is 7, 8 on Monday here it will be night time I think at 10:30 p.m. in India. If you are in US, I think it will be mostly at morning, depending upon from where you see it. But yeah, so let's see. I'm excited for WWDC. Um, there are rumors that how the iOS versions are just going to be from now iOS years like iOS 25, iOS 26, that kind of stuff. We are like Apple is kind of a company which mostly takes kind of an I will say Apple is kind of a company who is uh, who keeps their secret only till the event is there. Mostly it is not like Google. Like we get phone like we get we get the phone leaks of Google even before Google launch. Like we know the how the phone is going to look, how the spec is going to be there. So Apple is just like good in when it comes to that. So I don't want Apple to go from what it has now. It is good like iOS 19, iOS 20, like to call it iOS 26 or 25, like it doesn't matter that much. So again, it's up to the naming, like what they think, people think. Like let me know what you think about it. I don't ultimately care about that. I care about Apple Intelligence, what they are gonna talk about Apple Intelligence. Like we said in the last episode only, how last to last episode, how we are going to see different search AI engines basically in Safari. So they are working on Perplexity and even Anthropic. There isn't a talk, but my bet is that I don't think any of the both companies are going to be there. I think by default, ChatGPT is going to be there, and and they are going to give you options of other AI browsers. Is because I think again with the Apple, the case is going on. Apple doesn't want to look kind of an company who favors one, that is basically Google. That is they are taking money, that is $20 billion a year to just keep Google as a default browser on Safari. So we know that how this is how Google don't see it is a monopoly, but yeah. So Apple also don't want to see Apple also don't want to see it is as kind of a company about where you know uh, it is restricting other companies into like Apple is kind of a company who wants to create an image about it cares about everyone, about small businesses, about small developers who are starting, who are making those apps, or like you. So it is kind of an those kind of wants it is that image that they want to maintain. So I think that's why they are working on Anthropic and Perplexity. But we are now a couple of days in, and we don't have any kind of update regarding Siri. Is even Siri is going to be there? But we do have that. We do know that. I think one thing we definitely know that we do have another big event that is basically at the iPhone launch. So we may get the update regarding Siri and Apple Intelligence in the newer iPhone launch, that is iPhone 17. But it doesn't make sense if it's just a software update or kind of an it is not a hardware launch. Like any kind of if you are not launching any kind of a product, then you could just say that you can launch it. Like I know the product is ready or not, we don't know that. Mostly I don't think Siri is that much ready. Yeah, my bet is that uh, they are going to again deploy the same thing that they talk about in the last WWDC and promise on certain things and they will deliver it. But the whole Siri model and the whole AI Apple Intelligence that they talk about is going to be released somewhere near Apple's ARs. Like I think a 17 11 when they launch their products. So yeah, I'm much more excited into new features with the new iOS. Uh, new AI features is there, but mostly iOS features that they are also talking about. There are rumors that it is going to be revamped the whole design language of the model of the phone. That again, I don't know how, because mm, Apple overall design is kind of an good right now. But yeah, let's see. uh, I'm just excited what they are going to do with the new features of iOS, because we don't need, like last iOS WWDC was actually good. The features like password, the features like wallpapers, the theme change, even even the features like rearranging your apps icons, having getting that multiple options to customization. I really love those. So yeah, it just bring back the vibes of Android but with the iOS. So I hope we get the more customization this year too, with the overall design and what we can do with the, like, yeah. So yeah, like these are my kind of an, not predictions, but I hope they do it. So yeah, I think that's it for episode number 24 of the Tech Guy podcast. Uh, I will see you next week, definitely. Uh, we are definitely, the next week is going to be the WWDC podcast. Stay tuned and subscribe, like, and most important, comment on your thoughts regarding anything you want about the topics and the topics you want me to cover, and your thoughts. If I like it, I will mention you and we will discuss that thoroughly in next episode or upcoming episode. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I will see you in the next week in the WWDC. So yeah.